These are assembly instructions for my birthday ATM. I'm going to start by assembling the roller that the money is going to be wrapped around. This is the main roller piece, and I have a piece of cardstock, and I'm just inserting it in the hole. I'm putting glue about 1/2 inch in, then I'm gluing it to the underside of my roller piece, and I'm trying to glue it down as straight as possible. And then I'm folding down on all those little tabs on both sides of my shape. And then I'm laying my piece down on my craft mat and running my bone folder just along that edge to smooth out the edges between my tabs. I'm doing that on both sides. So next I have a container that's approximately the same diameter as my shape, and I'm just going to use it to help shape my piece. I'm just rolling my piece around it like so, and then I'm putting glue from the score line to the end on that tab. Notice I haven't folded down on that score line. That score line is there just for placement. And then I'm bringing the other end around. I'm gluing that end right on my score line, and I want the score lines for the tabs to match up at both ends. I'm folding all the tabs on one end towards the center of my shape, and on the other end I'm pulling them away from the center of my shape. So if you look down, you can see them all folded in place. And then I'm taking one of these round pieces with a circular cutout in the center, and I'm putting glue all around the perimeter. So I'm dropping my shape with the glue side down into my cylinder piece, and I'm going in with my bone folder and just pushing down on the edges to make sure that that glue takes. Now I'm pushing in the tabs at the other end, and I'm putting glue on 2 of them, and then I'm placing another one of those round pieces right on the edge of those 2 tabs, and then applying pressure on those 2 tabs to glue them in. And then I'm going to put glue on the remainder of those tabs, and then just gluing my round piece in place. And then I'm applying pressure from the inside and just gluing in those tabs. So next I have my 2 round pieces with small holes in the center, and I have some reinforcement pieces. I'm gluing reinforcement pieces on the front and on the back of both. I'm taking my cylinder piece again, and I'm putting glue all around that perimeter piece, and I'm taking my reinforced piece and just gluing it on top. I can go in from the other end and just apply a little pressure to make sure that that glue takes. Then I'm putting glue on the other end, and I have my second reinforced piece, and I'm just gluing it right on top of those tabs. Next I'm putting together the platform for my money rolling mechanism. So this is the main piece, and I'm just folding down on all the score lines for it. And then I have a second piece with tabs on either end. I'm just folding on the score lines to create those tabs. And then I'm going to reinforce the holes just like I did for the cylinder piece. So this is the inside of my box, and reinforce on the outside too. So I have my smaller piece, and I'm putting glue on one of the tabs, so from the score line to the edge. And then I'm grabbing my larger platform piece. So the score line is right on the edge of my larger piece, and it's right at that bottom score line of that lower tab. So if you fold back this tab, this should be a nice straight line. And then I'm flipping my piece over, and then I'm putting glue on the tab that's on the other end of that smaller piece, and I'm folding in the other end of my platform. Next I'm putting glue on both tabs that are at the top, and I'm bringing them down on either side. I want the cut edge of the side to be right against the score line of my tab on both sides. So next I have the piece that the platform is going to be glued onto. There's a set of score lines within my piece. I'm not folding down on those. Those are for placement. So I'm just folding down on the rest of my score lines. I'm looking at the right side of my piece. I can still see the score lines, and I'm bringing my sides upwards like this to create a tray. And I'm putting glue on the tabs that are closest to those score lines. And then I'm bringing up that longer side and gluing it to the tabs. So the cut edge of my side is right against the score line of my tabs, like so. So then I have my platform. So I'm putting glue on those bottom tabs of my platform. I have 2 openings. This is the front, and the smaller opening is the back. I'm looking at the part that has the smaller window. I'm putting glue just at the bottom. I'm gluing my piece in, and I want to make sure that it's pretty much right on that score line that I've scored. I'm going into the inside of my box and my bone folder. I'm making sure that the side of my platform is glued onto the side of my tray piece. And I've got both tabs glued in on either side. Next I'm putting glue on the 2 remaining tabs, and then I'm bringing that side up and gluing it in place. So next I have a wooden dowel, and the diameter of my wooden dowel is approximately 1/4 inch. I'm marking my dowel at 4 inches because I need to cut it at that length. So I've cut these 2 thin rectangles, and I'm using my bone folder to shape them. And then I'm covering the inside of them with double-sided tape. So instead of using double-sided tape here, you could use hot glue and glue these in place instead. I'm removing the protective layer from my double-sided tape, and then I'm just wrapping the very end of my dowel. Next, I'm inserting my cylinder piece. That strip is at the top. I don't want it rolling from under the roll. I want this piece rolling over the roll. And then I'm inserting it into my platform, and then I'm taking my dowel and I'm inserting it into the hole on the right-hand side, and then I'm bringing it through right to the hole that's on the left-hand side. Then I'm taking my rectangle with double-sided tape and just rolling it around the very end. And that will serve as a stopper so that my dowel doesn't fall through. So this is the front of my machine. I'm just folding down on all the score lines for my panel, and there are lots of them. All the tabs for this shape go on the outside of the shape because you're going to be looking at the inside. I'm putting glue on the 2 triangular tabs on either side, and then I'm just bringing the sides inwards like so. And so next I'm going to flip my piece over, and I have these funny fork tabs on either side. The cutout on the tab corresponds with the cutout that's on my piece. The cut edge of my piece goes right along the tab, and then I'm just gluing that in place. So this is the underside. I'm bringing this piece up, and I'm bringing these tabs at the bottom over. So I'm putting glue on both tabs, and then I'm folding them under. The cut edge of my tab just goes along my piece like so. And I'm going to glue the tabs at the top. I'm bringing this top panel down, putting glue on the tabs, and then just gluing them into place as well. So now I need to decorate my machine. This is the screen for my bank machine, and this is the keypad. I'm just going to glue those in, and then I'm going to flip my piece over. So I have this rectangle with 3 score lines. I've folded down on the score lines, and then I've shaped them so they look like a V. So I'm putting glue on the tabs from the score line to the end on both ends, and then I'm placing this piece just over the cutout. I want the first tab to be right above that cutout, and then the second one right below it. Then I have the front panel and the roof panel of my machine. I've just folded down on all the score lines for it, and I'm inserting the piece that I've just assembled, and I'm putting glue all along those tabs, and then I'm laying them flat. I'm going with my bone folder and just reinforcing that glue, and I'm just doing that for all 4 sides. I want the cut edge of my panel to be right at the score line of that flap that folds over. Oh, and I forgot I had another decorative piece. So it's just a decorative panel that goes around where the money comes out of. So next I have the panels to put my machine together. So I'm starting with my bottom piece. I have 2 tabs on either side and 1 tab that gets glued to the front of my machine. So I'm just putting glue all along that tab from the score line to the edge. So the bottom edge of my front piece is right along the score line of my tab, and the score lines on the left and the right match up. So next I have tabs on the left hand side. I'm putting glue all over them. I'm taking my back panel, one edge that fits right alongside the front of my machine, and gluing the cut edge of that piece right along the score line of my tab. So now I'm using my bone folder just to spread that glue on the inside. And so next I'm putting glue on that tab that's on my bottom piece, and I'm gluing it into place. And then I'm putting glue on the tab that's at the top, gluing the cut edge of that side right to the score line on that tab at the top. So I'm putting glue on the tab that's at the back of my machine, and I'm putting glue on the tab that's at the top, and then I'm bringing my panel around. Cut edge of my back piece is right against the score line, and I can go in and apply a little bit of pressure and make sure it's properly positioned. Next I'm gluing in my side and my bottom on the right hand side of my machine, making sure the cut edge follows along the score lines on my tab. And then again I can go in and spread my glue. I have that flap that opens this way. I'm just putting glue all over that lower panel. I'm taking my piece with that little tab towards my right hand side, and I'm gluing that panel down right on top. The bottom right hand corner of both panels should meet up perfectly. And that's going to serve as a little access panel at the back of my project. So next I have these 3/8 of an inch Velcro dots. These are the transparent ones. I use these all the time. I'm adhering 1/2 of the Velcro dot to the end of that rounded tab that's on my access panel. Next I have decorative panels for the sides of my machine. Because you're going to see this brown part of my craft board, I've actually cut 2 of them, and I'm gluing my cardstock layer to my craft board layer. I'm just putting glue all over the side of my bank machine. So this panel should be even at the back and at the bottom, like so. So it's going to overlap by about 1/4 inch at the top and all the way along the front. I've just glued in the panel on my left hand side. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the panel that's on my right hand side. So I put my Velcro dot on one side. I'm lightly adhering the Velcro parts together, and then I'm folding my panel in place, sticking my Velcro where it would naturally fall. And then I'm going in with my Cricut tool and separating my Velcro. And then I'm applying a little bit of extra pressure to make sure that it stays put. Next I have my VIP card. I've cut this out of craft board and I've colored the edges red so that you can't see the brown of the craft board. I've applied some matte silver vinyl. It says VIP, and I've got 2 layers of that, and I'm just gluing them together. My card fits right into the card holder. So I've just applied the words "Please remove your cash" to my pull tab. And I have the sign for the top of my machine. I'm using the same vinyl that I used for the VIP on my little card. I'm using a well-used piece of transfer tape to apply it to my cardstock because I don't want to rip my cardstock. So the bottom of my letters match up with the bottom of my support piece. So I'm just putting glue between the score lines on my support piece, and then I'm gluing my letters in place. I'm folding each of those triangular sides inwards. I'm putting glue on the tabs that are at the bottom, and I'm folding those tabs under. I'm positioning this more or less centered, hopefully centered at the back. You can even go from the inside and just press down on those tabs. I looked it up online, and apparently most currencies can stand being taped together without ripping. So I'm just using regular tape, and we're going to pretend this is real currency. I've created some fake Cricut currency, and I've left it in the file just in case you have a Cricut friend you want to make this for. So I'm just going to tape my bills so that the edges are nice and even. I'm being very generous here. I'm giving 60 Cricuts. And I'm taping the "Please remove your cash" to the end. So I'm centering my pull tab on my Cricut currency, and then I'm rolling my money up. So this is 65-pound cardstock, so it's not going to roll as nicely as money, but let's pretend. And I'm opening up my machine and I'm inserting my box, and I'm just sliding that "Please remove your cash" panel right through the hole, and then I'm closing my box. So then when you gift your birthday ATM, you just pull on. So the access panel at the back of the machine means you can test out your machine as much as you want before you gift it.